This is a Kitzur Yomi as we continue Siman Yod Ches. We pick it up from Sif Tes. Again, I apologize that the Shirim are a bit late. Mir Hashem, we will be catching and be back up to date in the next day or so. Says the Kitzur Sif Tes. Lo yigayik, lo yifayik, one should not burp, one should not yawn during Shemona Esrai. And the Kitzur now explains what are these two bodily functions. Giyok is hainu mashalafan shalapa'amim adamoitzi migufa lepiv. That's that something comes out of his mouth. We'll call that a burp. Naficha machmas soivoi. When you an exhalation from being full, again, we'll just call it a good old fashioned burp. Continues the Kitzur kareach hameichel sha'achal, which has the smell of the food that one just ate. The Yesha Imrim, and some explain the hainu, that what does it refer to? Shepoishe gufa is reisa machmas kaivid. You stretch your arms, your legs, you stretch out to the heaviness of your limbs. That is giyuk. Upiyuk, and what is piyuk referred to? Yon shapoiseach malakaychasav. You open your malkaychasav, your jaws wide, kadem straight to lishain, like a person who wants to sleep. Just gets up from his sleep, and he is yawning. And if it's unavoidable, then you put your hand in your mouth, so it should not be seen your opening of your mouth. Proper etiquette, you're middle of davening, you're middle of talking to the creator of the world, you don't allow different bodily functions to come out of your mouth. Continues the Kitzur, it's also forbidden to spit, and if you have some phlegm in your mouth during Shemona Esrai, and it's messing you up that you can't concentrate in your tefillah, what you do, it says the Kitzur put into a handkerchief or cloth, make it not be visible. That's disgusting. You could spit behind you. To your left. Then Yarik Liyaminoi. Again, over here it points out that the reason is the right side is always more bekavadik, so you don't want to spit to the right. You spit more to the left. But again, this is something, as we learned then, that our kavod-based economics dictates that one be careful about this, as no one, just like one would not spit in their house, said the Kitzur, one should not spit in the shul. Vimkinoi oikatzoi. If allows a bit someone during davening, Yamashish begadav asirai, you can move around your clothing to move it. Again, this is more bizman of days of old that they used to have bugs and whatnot. You don't want to be mavatal your kavana. However, you should not remove it with your hand. In this one, tells me a love. If your towels falls off while you're davening, you can return. I feel enough al ruba, even if the majority fell off. Enough al kul, if the entire towels fell off. You're not able to put it back on. Why? Mishum the ave havsik, because that would be a havsik. And again, on note 47, it points out that even if you catch in your hand, that is called completely off your body, and therefore you should not put it on. Interesting. Note 48 points out that if you're not going to be able to be mechavin and daven properly without a talis, then you're allowed to put it on between brachos of Shemona Esrai. Nafal sefer lafanav alaaretz. If a sefer falls in front of someone on the ground, you can't focus. You're able to pick it up between brachos. So we see the balance over here. We see that on one hand, you're in the middle of Shemona Esrei, you're in the middle of talking to the King of Kings, and therefore what? Therefore there should be nothing. You should not move. You should not do anything. On the other hand, if the current matziv is going to disallow you from having kavana, then you do the minimum to allow you to continue davening, whether it means putting back on your talis, whether it means picking up the sefer. Called dvarim asurim b'tach tefillah Shemona Esrei asurim ad la'achar she'efsi ha'psiyos. It's not only usher during Shemona Esrei, it's usher until you take your 3 steps back. Being mafsik, there is a difference. As we'll get to in Sif Tes, as we wrote, we'll get to, Sif Tes Vav. Sarach Lam, we continue with Sif Tes Yod 1. Davening Shemona Esrei needs to stand in front of L'Sad Eretz Yisrael, facing Eretz Yisrael, Shenemar. V'isvalu eilecha derech artzam, v'yichavin gam keneged Yushalayim, you should face towards Yushalayim. Keneged HaMikdash, v'beis HaMikdash, v'beis Kodshei HaKadoshim, l'cheina, therefore, Anu b'mdina seinu, says the Kitzur, Hungary, Central Europe, Shioshim Arav Shal Eretz Yisrael, Sarach Lam, Hoid Bavanav L'Zan Mizrach, and of course this is where it comes from, the Davening East. And as well, note 53 points out, this is the reason why when we create shuls, we try our best to create that the aron is eastward, so that when you're davening towards Eretz Yisrael. And obviously, this from here we see is that you don't particularly daven east. That's a misnomer. We don't daven east. We daven towards Yushalayim. Now, where we live, Yushalayim happens to be east. Lo the Mizrach Mamish, not east directly. It said Karen Mizrach is dry, southeastern. Ayin Taz Magavram B'Shem Halavosh. Yeshiv Mitzafat Shal Eretz Yisrael. If you're in the north, Paneim Ladaram, you daven south. Yeshiv Mizrach Paneim Lamayra. If you're living on the east, you daven west. Yeshiv Adaram Paneim Lasaf and Nimsa. Call Yisrael. Painim Tilasein Lamakom Echad. The Gans Kalal Yisrael. Again, we don't all dive east. We all dive into one place. What's the one place? Of course, the Leiv, the Ainu Keneged Yushalayim. Beis Kachei HaKadashim Shesham Shara Shemayim. That is the gateway straight into Shemayim. Shekol Tfilos Oilis Derech Sham. That's the way the Tfilos go up. L'chenikra Beis HaMikdash Talpiot. That is why the Beis HaMikdash is called Talpiot. It's K'mo Shekazu Migdal David Savarich. Banoi L'Talpiot. It's built as a landmark referring to the Beis HaMikdash. Tail, what does it refer to? Talpiot refers to a tail, a mountain. Shekol Pios, a point of love that all mouths, Pios, turn towards it. If one is davening, quietly, excuse me, if one is davening b'makim in a place which he cannot face Eretz Yisrael, then and this is very relevant. Yesterday we mentioned you don't daven in an open field. We mentioned you're in an airport and other areas. You want to find a secluded area. So sometimes you can't physically daven east. You can't daven towards Yushalayim. So in those situations, we close our eyes and we're mechavein. La'aviv Shabbat Shemayim. We're mechavein that our tefillah should go. Keneged Yushalayim, Keneged Beis Hamikdash Kadosh HaKadoshim. If someone by mistake daven and he started davening north or south, Niskar Ben Shvanase, Middle Shvanase, he realized he's facing the wrong way. Sheina Oimid Karoy, Lo Yaka Raglov, you should not move during Shemona Esrai. Aliyata Panav Lemizrach, turn your head eastward. Vimi Avshalov, that's impossible. Oisha Oimid Bemarav, you're west, you're exactly backwards. Yigmar Tfilas Leikach, you do not turn around while you're davening. Chamdila Beis Kadashim, you just have your heart in mind towards Kadashim Kadashim Lo Yaka Raglov. Chenim Umisal B'Makayim, certainly if davening you pay Sheit Surat B'Mizrach, that there are images of idols on the east of the room. You let a daven another way, even though it is not Mizrach. And again, in those scenarios, we're just going to be mechavein that we're davening as if we're facing Kodesh HaKadoshim. We continue with Sivyat Aleph, says the Kitzur. Sarech likroya lishtach avoyis baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. There are times that one has to bow and bend his knees and bow during Shemona Esrai. Arba pa'amim rishon esrei. B'tzchila bracha rishayna b'asayif at the beginning and end of the first bracha. Berachas moedim b'tzchila b'asayif, beginning and end of moedim. Kishayim baruch, when you say baruch, akayrei b'birkov, you bend your knees. Kishamer atam ishtachaveh, so it's a knee bend and then a full body bend. Kol kach ad shakasharim shal chuliyos hashidra boltim. You're going to go all the way down till your spine, the shudrais, the vertebrae are sticking out. Kamroisha Yaakov, your head should be bowed. That before you say Hashem Zogiv Benachas, you get up slowly. Al Shem Shemer Hashem Zogiv Kifufin. The pasuk says Hashem straightens the bent. By moedim as well, you bend your knees and bow. Now, many people are listening to this and saying, what? You bend your knees and bow? No, you don't. So you look at note 60, it points out that the Mishnah Berurah Paskins not this way. That by moedim you bow without bending your knees. You just go straight down. You don't first bend your knees and then bow your body. You just bow your body until you get to the word Hashem. Before you get to Hashem, if you straighten up. You don't bow too much. You don't want to put your head all the way down towards your waist. That's gaiva. It's difficult to bow. It's enough just to bow his head, and you'll see sometimes so an elderly can't bow his body, at least you bow your head. Also, you cannot bow additional times in Shemona Esrai, brachas, other brachas, lo b'tchilasan, loy b'seifon. Continue as if you'd gimel, says the Kitzur. Before it's a shalom, what do? You walk back 3 steps. You're leaving your master. You walk backwards. Very important. You see sometimes people taking these massive steps out of Shemona Esrai. Beinoni average steps chabachs kidei shitin agadol beside akav. That your big toe is the heel. So if these are your 2 feet, we'll do it like this. Your foot should be back. That your toe is towards your heel, not all the way like this. A beinoni step that your foot feet to your heel. And not more than 3 steps. Small. Now, how do you take your 3 steps? So one might say, how? I don't know. Take 3 steps. No, there's a way to take your 3 steps. You first step with your left foot. And then you step with your right foot. Small, then again your left foot. And all this is while you're still bowing down. Turn your face to the left. The right of the Shechina. She connected up with Shasat Tefillah because the Shechina is opposite you when you are davening Shemona Esrai. It says Minat Tefillah when you're going away from davening. Then you turn your head to the right. Shu small Shechina and the left of the Shechina. Then you bow forward. Yisrael. Amen. After Zayke you straighten up and you say Yiratzin Shebana Beis Hamikdash. You say the Yiratzin Ki Atfili Makam Avodah, because of course our tefillos are in the place of the Avodah, the service in Beis Hamikdash. Chena B'Svalim Sivra. When we finish Shemona Esrai, we daven. Opinion Beis Hamikdash and Nuchalas is Avodah Mamish Meir V'Yaminu. Batam Shabbos Tchila Regel Small. So now everyone's wondering, what's this big deal? First your left foot, then your right foot, then your left foot. What's going on? Says the Kitzur, you know why? The way that a person walks, you generally take your first step with your right foot. And therefore you're walking away from the Shechina. Take your left foot first. To show. It's difficult to walk away from the Shechina. To walk away from the Shechina. And therefore you regel. If you're lefty, take the first step with his left foot, which is a right foot, which is the right of all people. And we continue with Sifyud Gimel, says the Kitzur. But Makom Shekola Absilas Yamun, in the place that you finish your steps, you stop. Raglayim Mechuvana is Kemoy Batfila. With your feet together like you're davening Shemona Esrai, Le'achzer Panav L'mayriv. You should not turn west behind you. Le'achzer L'makayma. You should not go back to your place. Ad Shegiach Shlich Siblik Dusha. Halacha that unfortunately not everyone knows. You take your 3 steps back. You said Oiseh Shalom. You say the Yiratzin, and you stop there. And you wait until the Chazan gets to Kedusha. And if you're davening by yourself, then Yamad Kishir that wait this amount of time till the Chazan will get to Kedusha, meaning you wait a few moments before going back. In the bottom of note 69, it points out the Mishmura says that if one needs, then he waits the amount of time just to walk Daled Amos, which of course will just be a few moments. If the place you're standing is narrow and crowded, similarly, if you're saying piyutim like or Shani Yom Kippur, and therefore to stay in that place is very difficult, chayzer kishem maschil. We lost our pointer. You go back when the Shliach Sibur begins his Shemona Esrai. Stop over here. We'll pick it up from Sif Yudalid and Mirza Hashem.